On today's jam-packed episode, we're going to continue our Conference USA deep dive by spending a little time talking about that team out in Texas that's representing the Conference USA. And after a very stellar season, fresh after a 3-9 campaign, we're going to break down the Sam Houston Wildcats, Bearkats. Yeah. And we're going to get into their season review from last year. We're going to also talk about their upcoming recruiting class, their schedule breakdown, and many, many more things on today's World of College Football episode. Let's go. It's Wavy, it's your boy Moon back at it again. Welcome to another marvelous episode of World of College Football Podcast, hosted by me, Moon, credential media member, and the waviest to ever do it. On today's episode, we are pleased to say that college football has no off season. So, in the middle of March Madness, about to get kicked off and started off right, we over here talking about the Sam Houston Bearkats. Go Cats. I'm excited about this episode mainly because we are continuing our Conference USA deep dive in its entirety. And today's focus led us to the great state of Texas and a team that's like hitting in the gyms with all the FBS juggernauts and giants that we have in the state of Texas. I mean, you have University of Texas, you got A&M and the Aggies, you got Baylor, you got TCU. I mean, the list goes on and on. And then somewhere out there in Huntsville, there's a team by the name of the Sam Houston Bearkats. Special shout out to you and yours. And thank you for watching this show. All I ask for you is make sure you follow me on Twitter at CFB Moon and check out thecfbnation.com for all your latest in the college football world. Special shout out to our sponsors at BetUS. We'll talk about a little bit more from them coming up later in the show. But yeah, hope y'all having a great day so far. Give me all the DJ McKinney shares, top 3 Conference USA running back in 2025. We're going to be breaking down a little bit from DJ2 later in the show. And shout out to the mayor in the building. Yes, sir. Let's pop it off because I'm excited. Y'all ready? Let's get into it. Sam Houston State is the focus of this World of College Football episode on today. And we're continuing our Conference USA series where, I mean, it's going to be a frenzy in 2025. We got new additions entering into the party with Missouri State, and we also got Delaware and the Blue Hens coming up. Most notably, Kennesaw State made their entrance. Sam Houston made their entrance recently, and may I dare add that Western Kentucky is fresh off of a conference championship. Conference USA right now is spicy. And don't forget that Liberty still exists out there. But on today's episode, subject on the left is the former head coach of the Sam Houston Bearkats. And we'll talk about him in a second. Head coach on the right is the new man in charge of the Sam Houston Bearkats, looking to turn them into a perennial Conference USA juggernaut squad. But let's break it down in its entirety and start off by painting the picture for you, because you know I like to paint the scene. The echoes of celebration still linger in the air. Under the blinding Superdome lights, Sam Houston State hoisted its first ever FBS trophy for a bowl game, etching out a 31-26 New Orleans Bowl victory into history. And from there, the Bearkats and people around the nation had to celebrate. I mean, it was a monumental occasion for them, but it wasn't about reaching their peak. And this wasn't even an overachievement. This was a clear message to everybody that was out there paying attention that this hidden giant of Texas football is not hiding around anymore, especially in plain sight. It's stepping into the FBS spotlight with a chip on its shoulder, a 10-win season under its belt, and a foundation so solid, people, that even Conference USA's best can feel the ground shaking beneath them. We aren't witnessing a team that's just satisfied with just being in the Conference USA, people. Sam Houston State is building something indestructible with their culture and entering the game changer himself. This guy, KC Keeler, the architect who laid the foundation. The greats know when to leave, and Coach Keeler, he left at the very perfect time. For 11 seasons, people, he turned Sam Houston into a FCS powerhouse. And then when the FBS transition came calling, he didn't blink, he didn't fold, he led them boys into the fire. CFB Nation key metric for you, 97. That's the number of wins that Coach Keeler accumulated during his time at Sam Houston State. That's 10 winning seasons, a national championship, a flawless FCS playoff run in 2021. I mean, he built this program brick by brick, guiding them through uncharted waters. The whack move, amazing. The FBS jump, I mean, come on. The growing pains, going 3-9 in their first season of FBS and changing that around the next year. And then when people actually counted them out, they said, hold my beer. Coach Keeler, he is an absolute dog. And he's the architect of this Sam Houston rise that we have. He responded in 2024 with the 10-3 campaign, one that saw the Bearkats go from an afterthought and a new kid on the block to one win away from a Conference USA championship appearance, people. I got chills reading that because at the end of the day, Conference USA is alive and is happy to have a guy that made a team have a monumental transition. We call him a master builder because he knew when his job was done and then he stepped aside gracefully. But he didn't leave behind a team searching for answers. He left behind a team that's absolutely ready to explode. Enter in Coach Phil Longo. Now, Phil, you can say that there are some hires that are safe hires, quote unquote. Phil Longo was not a safe hire by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, he was an explosive hire, a bold hire, the type of hire that signals Sam Houston isn't here just to be average, people. They're here to try to run this thing and have everything come through Huntsville, Texas. I mean, Longo doesn't just coach quarterbacks. He has an affinity with quarterbacks. Take a look at this guy. You remember him? That's Drake May. Yeah, we'll talk about him in a second. Let's just take a look at Phil Longo's coaching resume. Some of the things that he is known for, because some people might not be aware of who he is. Back in the day, Coach, he was the one that orchestrated Shea Patterson and had that man thriving under Phil Longo before he got hurt. And then when Jordan Tayamu stepped in and just torched the SEC, throwing for nearly 4,000 passing yards in 2018, yep, you can credit that to Phil Longo. His offenses shattered records. It even sent DK Metcalf and AJ Brown to the league. That was in 2017, 2018. Then we had another stint when he made his way to North Carolina and Chapel Hill. From 2019 to 2022, Sam Howell basically broke every passing record in UNC history, throwing for over 10,000 yards and 92 touchdowns in 3 years. And then insert Drake May, the savior, who stepped in as a redshirt freshman in 2022 and threw for 4.3K yards and 38 tubs, ultimately winning ACC Player of the Year. Phil Longo even had to get it out the mud. And when I say get out the mud, literally, he went to Wisconsin where the people jump around. From 2023 to 2024, where he helped modernize a run-heavy program, setting school records for passing attempts and completions, while still maintaining some sort of balance in the offense. Now, I know it wasn't the prettiest thing, especially last year for Wisconsin. Yeah, Braylon Allen calling them boys out. But still, Longo is an offensive mastermind and a scientist with a blueprint that just simply works everywhere. Now, he's back in Huntsville, a place where he once coordinated an offense that averaged 49.5 points per game. Only this time, he's not just calling plays. He's the one that's building this monster of a juggernaut program. Sam Houston, the Bearkats defense is the reason that they won all those games. Let's just be real. The defense set the tone in 2024. Sam Houston's defense didn't just slow teams down. They broke teams. CFB Nation key metric for you. Conference USA's number one scoring defense, you guessed it, the Sam Houston Bearkats. Number two in total defense, you guessed it, the Sam Houston Bearkats. They actually forced 5 turnovers in the New Orleans Bowl against Georgia Southern. Hail Southern, right? But those names, absolutely unforgivable. And after this short break from our sponsors, we'll break down more about what made this defense so special.
Look at you out here using all these other sports books and you ain't even using the best one. BetUS, get 125% match bonus when you use the promo code CFB Nation. Yeah, you heard me correctly, 125% match bonus on your first deposit using that code CFB Nation. We know that college football is in the offseason, even though we don't celebrate that. You know, CFB Nation, we do college football 24/7, but there are plenty of things for you guys to bet on.
Who will have the most wins? OKC Thunder or Cleveland Cavaliers? Can Luka and LeBron make it all mesh to make it to the play-in tournament? Maybe you're a college basketball guy ready to risk it all for Florida to make it to the big dance.
Basketball isn't for you? Maybe you're a football guy. Well, BetUS got you covered with this year's UEFA Championship. Can Liverpool or Barcelona win it all? Will Erling Haaland or Harry Kane lead their teams to victory?
May is going to get popping when the Kentucky Derby hits town. BetUS has you covered in that way too, with all major horse racing events. Point is, type in that promo code CFB Nation and go get that money. Go get that money. And that's exactly what the Sam Houston Bearkats defense did in 2024. They set the tone and they went and go get that money, including a massive bowl win in the New Orleans. Let's just say this. The names, absolutely unforgettable. This kid right here, dog. That is Kavion Gaither, the general linebacker, who tallied 85 tackles, 7.5 tackles for a loss, and an amazing 17 tackle performance against Jacksonville State. He didn't just make plays on the field, people. He dictated the game and the pace in every single contest that he played in. He is actually declaring for the 2025 NFL draft, and we hope to see a Bearcat in the league. Up next, another kid that was a juggernaut for this program in 2024. If he is the general, Kavion, then Chris Murray, defensive end, was the wrecking ball. He lived in opponents' backfields, and he finished second in Conference USA with 11.5 tackles for a loss. I mean, just wrecking offensive coordinators' game plans, especially in the run game. Chris Murray did it all last year. Then one of my favorite players to actually watch, Caleb Weaver. I nicknamed him the Bandit because he led Conference USA in interceptions with 4 and locked down receivers every single week in and week out. And then the guy on the screen, Jalen Jimerson, DB, he was right in the cusp of everything with him. Call him the playmaker. 2 picks in the New Orleans Bowl, including a pick 6 that got it off early. When the game needed a closer, when the game needed a guy to step up, Jalen Jimerson shut the door. I mean, just think about it. It was a championship caliber defense that we got a chance to witness in 2024. And boy, did they bring home some hardware. Governor in the building, Swavy, bro. So when we talk about Sam Houston and their championship caliber defense, we also have to know that college football is an ever-changing ecosystem. So while you celebrate, not that long thereafter do you have to get it all together and find yourself again and figure out who's in, who's out, who's next. So let me break down to you what went down in the transfer portal period for Sam Houston and get a chance to see who's coming in and out for Coach Longo heading into 2025. Let's just keep it funky and tell you like this. The Bearcats are reloading in real time. Now I know they lost some kids, but the key departures, major defensive losses. Caleb Weaver, the DV that I just told you about that I love so much, well, he's gone to Duke. Conference USA's best defensive back is gone. Chris Murray, the edge that I told you that was wreaking havoc in Mr. Bowling Ball, well, he committed to Auburn in the transfer portal. And that's a massive loss on the edge. Simeon Evans, wide receivers, he committed to North Texas. Bearcats and their top wide receiver took a massive gut punch because their top receiver in 2024 is staying in Texas, just not Huntsville. My guy is going to be in Denton. Breecion Hayes, edge, also committed to North Texas. And I hate to overstate it, but it's another big loss to their defensive line and their pass rush, choosing the American Conference over the conference that is really America's conference. And last but not least, one of the key losses that I saw in the transfer portal was running back Jake Ducker. He committed to Phil Longo's former stomping grounds, and he's taking his talents to Temple. He was the leading rusher for Sam Houston last season. So losing this much definitely hurts. I know. I understand. But if you're a Sam Houston fan out there, be encouraged because Sam Houston isn't just letting players walk out that door and leave. They're filling in every gap as much as they possibly can. And the key additions could put a smile on your face. I mean, they're bringing in 15 transfers to keep this machine running smoothly. Quarterback Mabry Mature, quarterback from Wisconsin. He's Phil Longo's handpicked quarterback of the future and the guy that you see on your screen. He's coming in trying to take command of this quarterback room in a heavily involved air raid system where he can sling the rock all over the place. I know that's one of the key reasons why he wanted to take his talents to Sam Houston in Huntsville, Texas. Also coming in, they have Caleb Black, wide receiver out of Arizona State, who is an instant playmaker, shifty, explosive, and a problem in space. Elijah Green, running back from Indiana, is a physical downhill runner who has Big Ten experience. Jace Arnold, DB from Wisconsin, he's a high-level cornerback with elite speed that's coming in to help this DB room. And last but not least, one of the key additions that I noticed in Sam Houston's pickup in the transfer portal is Rayfield Lawton, tight end from Mississippi State. SEC experience, athletic tight end, who can hopefully stretch the field and become a vertical threat in an air raid system. But when you talk about these kids that's in here, that's being brought in, you have to talk about the next wave of Bearcat superstars. Because building a dynasty means you have to stack talent on top of each other. And Sam Houston's 2025 class, it's really solid. Starting with the guy that's on your screen, Mr. London Dion, wide receiver that is 6'5", 210 pounds, and a matchup nightmare, who hauled in 13 touchdowns in his senior season. My boy knows how to get active. I tell you, active. Coming up next, Mr. Javion Johnson. They almost got me to butcher that man's name. Not happening today on World of College Football. Javion Johnson, linebacker, 6'3", 205. He's a two-time Defensive Player of the Year with elite athleticism, playing in multiple positions wherever you need him to. Coming up next on World of College Football, this dog. You can look into his eyes and tell him that he a dog. That right there, my friend, is Jax Brown, quarterback, 6'3", 195 gunslinger, who passed for 3,000 passing yards, 33 touchdowns, and he's built for Phil Longo's system. I mean, I can't wait to see him sling the ball around. Coming up next in the recruits, can't see his face, but you remember his frame. Pause.
Hey, yo!
Anthony Shorter, defensive end, 6'4", 6'4", 225 pounds. Man's chiseled out of granite. First team all district on both offense and defense. He is going to be a specialty Swiss Army knife for this coaching staff. He has a label as defensive end, but I feel like he can play all over the place. And last but not least, of players that I wanted to highlight from this class coming in is Mr. Caius Coy, defensive end, 6'3", 225. He was a two-time first-team all-district lineman and an absolute beast in the trenches. Sam Houston State got a great pickup, and he's now a Bearcat. But when you're talking about coaches, their philosophies, their recruiting class, you need more than just the top guy that's handling all the duties. He has to be able to delegate everything to the people that's underneath him and put his coaching staff into place. So now let's dive in to who Phil Longo is surrounding himself with in his time coming back to Huntsville, Texas. Let's start with this guy. Phil Longo wants to surround himself with masterminds, and plus he's a recruiter of elite coaches. And look no further than Freddie Autry Lindsay, a defensive coordinator. Now, Coach Freddie, he's an NC State's former defensive guru, and he helped produce NFL talent galore. And he ran one of the ACC's best units. So he's coming in and certified ball Noah. Up next, we got this pleasurable guy, Gary McGraw, cornerback coach. Now, he's an Oregon Ducks alma mater. Oregon is a friend of our network, so shout out to Oregon. We're going to vouch for him already. But he also coached the Bearkats in 2021 when they completed their FCS national championship run. You remember their secondary being like that? Yeah, he was a good reason why they were. That is Coach Gary McGraw doing the cornerbacks, trying to take them to the next level for real. Up next, Isaac Morin. He's going to be coaching the edges. Now, I mentioned a lot of them that's coming in and recruiting and that they have to replace in the transfer portal. Coach Isaac, he was at Texas as a defensive analyst in 2024, and you know how nasty Texas's defense was. He was working with the elite defensive unit. And last but not least, out of coaches that I want to spotlight on this episode is this guy. With eyes like that, I would take him seriously too. That's Blair Vaughn, the strength coach. He was at Arizona, and he was Arizona's associate strength coach who helped develop a 10-plus win Arizona Wildcats team. He's coming in to get them boys strong. When you're talking about a team, you have to look at not only coaching staff, recruiting class, transfer portal, but you have to look at all of the pieces, including a jam-packed schedule that we have in the Conference USA. And when I say jam-packed, it is loaded, bro. Take a look at the conference schedule alone for Sam Houston in 2025, year of our Lord, because the gauntlet is truly going to begin, people. It's going to begin. They're not going to have no time to ease into a season in the Coach Phil Longo era. The first game of the season is a road trip to Western Kentucky the defending, reigning world champions of the Conference USA on August the 23rd. It's a conference that's right out of the gate. Then the schedule includes at Hawaii on September the 6th, a cross-Pacific battle against a Mountain West opponent that is not going to be a sleeper with Micah Elahado at quarterback. They also have to play at Texas on September the 27th. That's a chance to measure up against one of the country's elite. And you also just had a coach come in that has extensive Texas connections and ties. So this game is going to be very much so a coming home event. And then at Oregon State on November the 8th, a late season road trip battle to a Pac-12 caliber team who is deadly in the month of November. And then, of course, we have our gauntlet, which you look at that. Jacksonville State on October the 9th, UTEP October the 15th. That's two home showdowns against teams that have become thorns in Sam Houston's side in Conference USA. Delaware, they have to take on their first ever matchup November the 15th in a historic FCS to FBS transition matchup game. I mean, Sam Houston had to go through it last year. They'll love to welcome Delaware to the Conference USA and not going to be with hugs and kisses. Middle Tennessee State on November the 22nd and FIU on November the 29th are games that will be critical in this late season that can help shape the race for the Conference USA championship, or it can break them right before they have hopes to reach a Conference USA championship. Don't sleep on either one of those opponents. The Bearkats, they play two Power 5 teams in Texas and Oregon State, two Mountain West teams, and they open up versus Western Kentucky in week 0. Their opponents combined for a 62% win percentage last year. That's the toughest schedule in Conference USA as we speak. Conference USA's top teams, of course, meet in the CUSA championship game on December the 5th. And Sam Houston definitely wants in. I know I want in. You know what you also should want in? Our sponsor of today's episode, BetUS. After this, we'll wrap it all up and tell you why Sam Houston is hunting everybody in the Conference USA in 2025.
Look at you out here using all these other sports books and you ain't even using the best one. BetUS. Get 125% match bonus when you use the promo code CFB Nation. Yeah, you heard me correctly. 125% match bonus on your first deposit using that code CFB Nation. We know that college football is in the off season, even though we don't celebrate that. You know, CFB Nation, we do college football 24/7, but there are plenty of things for you guys to bet on.
Who will have the most wins? OKC Thunder or Cleveland Cavaliers? Can Luka and LeBron make it all mesh to make it to the play-in tournament? Maybe you're a college basketball guy ready to risk it all for Florida to make it to the big dance.
Basketball isn't for you? Maybe you're a football guy. Well, BetUS got you covered with this year's UEFA Championship. Can Liverpool or Barcelona win it all? Will Erling Haaland or Harry Kane lead their teams to victory?
May is going to get popping when the Kentucky Derby hits town. BetUS has you covered in that way too, with all major horse racing events. Point is, type in that promo code CFB Nation and go get that money. Go get that money, twin. BetUS, proud sponsors of CFB Nation. This is World of College Football, hosted by your boy Moon, credentialed media member, and the way we used to ever do it. And this is my show where I get a chance to talk about everything in college football, from the haves to the have-nots. People that are doing amazing in the sport to people that are absolutely stinking it up. Ooh. Sam Houston, there's a lot to like about 2025, and the reason, Phil Longo. When you enter in a coach with a heavily air raid system, that is going to spell relief in ways that Sam Houston fans are going to appreciate more than anything. I mean, the defense was the star of the show in 2024, but if there's any sign of life, any gelling, and we get any production from the offense that is consistent in 2025, I can promise you that the DNA of this team is going to start to lean heavily offensively, and defense is going to be the one catching up. That's why spring ball is so important to keep your eyes on. Sam Houston is in the midst of spring ball right now, going through the thick of things, getting into their workouts, and prepping for a jam packed 2025. Now, I'm not going to hold you. Looking at this schedule, and you open up versus Western Kentucky, you got to close the year off versus Speed and more Speed against FIU in a game that they are going to absolutely want. You play Middle Tennessee on the 22nd before Thanksgiving. I mean, it's not going to be any games that they can take their foot off of the gas. And that's not even to mention Conference USA in midweek slot where the national audience will be able to see. You have games against New Mexico State, Jacksonville State, UTEP, and Louisiana Tech, all in the month of October. This is just shaking out to be a jam-packed season for Sam Houston. Now, will it be its growing pains? Absolutely. Every season is in the world of college football. But do they have the right man for the job? I absolutely feel like they do. They did not play it safe by any stretch of the imagination. They made sure that they took their time in the hiring process. Shout out to Keeler and everything that he was able to do. I give you round of applause for taking Sam Houston from the FCS and beating up on folks, taking them to the FBS and taking your lumps and getting beat up on, and then saying, you know what, we'll wipe me down, wipe me down, wipe me down, and then bouncing back and going to 10 wins before stepping out of the scene and saying, Sam Houston, take it from here. Houston, we don't got no problems out here in Huntsville, Texas. In Huntsville, Texas, the next gym is now on the horizon. The hidden giant that is fresh off of a New Orleans Bowl. It should have been proof. The past decade, that should have been the foundation for you. But the next phase that the Bearkats are entering into, I mean, they coming for everything, Slim. Spring ball, it's just getting started. The first step in a new empire is stacking these bricks in the spring, one over another. Every rep, every throw, every drill, it's all leading to a program that isn't just here to just be the new kid on the block in Conference USA. Woo-hoo, give us an award. We're just like Kennesaw State in Delaware. No, sir, Bob. They're here to own the Conference USA, and they coming for people's lunch money, they lunch boxes, they lunch pails, and telling them to get their hard hats. Huntsville isn't just producing a good football team. Huntsville is producing the next great powerhouse in Texas. They got a right guy for the job in Coach Phil Longo. And I would say the hidden giant that y'all tried so hard to keep sleeping, that giant is awake now, my friend, and is not going back to sleep. This is the world of college football. Shout out to Sam Houston. Shout out to you for watching. If you enjoy it, make sure you follow me on Twitter at CFB Moon. Check out thecfbnation.com for your everything you need. And special shout out to our sponsors at BetUS. Use the promo code DCFBNation for your 125% deposit match. I hope you have an amazing Wednesday. And until the next episode, you already know what time it is. Let's